Night Showdown recap starts now.
Hey everybody, it's Carson Gordy filling in for Sammy St. Jean tonight, but don't worry, we still have you covered with a lot of good high school games around this region. And I know a lot of people care about those state titles, but week 7 was rivalry week across Central Illinois, and we got all the highlights. Starting off with our game of the week of our Friday night showdown game of the week between Central A&M and the St. Teresa Bulldogs. These are former conference rivals meeting once again in a one-off, so the winner could have bragging rights for years. Number 18, Gavin Paul lobs a pass over to the defense over Tommy for an easy touchdown for the Bulldogs. Number 18, Gavin Paul finds number 22, Peter, once again on the flat and runs to the pylon before making a cut and scoring a touchdown. Number 18, Gavin Paul, though, also showing off his arm strength as he throws a deep ball over the defender to find Eli as he walks into the end zone, giving the Bulldogs a big lead. Central A&M with the ball in Bulldog territory, and number 5, Emmett Stanger finds number 3, Adrian Madrigal in the middle of the field for the catch and the score to end the first half. Number 18, Gavin Paul, number 22, Tommy Peter continued their connection as Gavin finds Tommy on the far side of the field for another touchdown. Next Bulldog possession, Reed Douglas gets the short pass, makes a nice cut, and dodges and weaves through the defenders. St. Teresa holds on to win, 35-14.
Great job, boys. Way to be.
Now that means we got one more thing, guys. Here's your trophy presentation.
And the Pretzels taking on the Bullets in Williamsville. The Bullets were able to push up the field before handing the ball off to number 21, Matthew Miller. He's able to put his head right down and bulldozes into the end zone for a Bullet touchdown. Williamsville, they kept that momentum for the next drive as well. Number 7, Jackson Sanders throws a bullet to Mason Johnson in the middle of the 3 Pretzel defenders for another score. The Pretzels finally get another answer as Connor Stenson disappears in the Bullet defense before finding another way out and winning the foot race for a Pretzel touchdown. Williamsville, though, they would go on to win 53-7. We got another good rivalry game. Sacred Heart Griffin taking on Springfield. Scheffler for Springfield ran an absolute clinic in the second half. Quick passing game and also able to show his own legs. This would set up another touchdown for the Senators, and they would miss that extra point, though, and it'd be 14-13. They gave Sacred Heart Griffin just a little too much time left in the second half, though. Their quarterback finding their running back on a nice screen pass and gets all the way down to the 15-yard line into that red zone range, but this is the biggest play right here. 4th down and 10, they go for it. Throws a lob to the end zone. Looks like it was going to hit the ground. Makes a phenomenal catch at the 1-yard line. Sacred Heart Griffin would bulldoze in for the next play. They would go up 21-13. They would actually block a punt for a touchdown just a couple minutes later. And they would pull away for a big win over their rival. And coming up after the break, we have plenty of other highlights across the region. But first, let's check out these scores. Mount Zion beats Effingham 31-7. Athens loses to Porta 22-18. And Glenwood continues their perfect season with a 56-0 record. And next, we'll be heading to our highlights, and coming up, plenty of highlights across the region from Rochester to Athens to Taylorville. Don't go anywhere. Hey everybody, it's Carson Gordy. Welcome back to our Friday night showdown post-game show. We had some high-scoring goals across the land of Lincoln, from air raid attacks to aggressive defenses, able to step up and make a big play. And it's vital as we enter the twilight regular season. Heading over to MacArthur, they were playing at Rochester, take on the Rockets in this Week 7 matchup. Rockets looking to end the first half with a strong drive as number 9, Blake Leonard, finds Slusher, who's able to high point the ball before sliding into the 10-yard line. After a penalty to push the Rockets back, that gives Blake Leonard time to find Tristan Stanton, who's able to get just a toe-in for a nice catch and a touchdown and take that momentum into the locker room. MacArthur in need of an answer in the second half, and Caden Brown makes a nice cut going up the middle and cuts up the sideline, followed by a wonderful block. He gets home for a score. Rochester, we're still waiting to report that final score. And next game, Taylorville needing to beat Charleston, get into the playoffs. This is a huge game. They just start with an easy pass right up the middle, the screen pass to get that game going, 3-3, and they need this win to likely try to get into the playoffs. And their southpaw quarterback throws a high point to number 84 for an early touchdown. Right here, this is actually the backup quarterback. Their starter got injured with an injury. I don't know where they find these southpaws. It doesn't matter. They score their quick touchdown to go up 21-0, and then Charleston just trying to run out the ball, but Taylorville was bouncing. The Tornadoes able to take out the ball, scoop and score for an easy touchdown Final score, Taylorville wins by over 36. They are now 4-3 this year. And now going to the full screen, here's the bubble watch for some schools in Central Illinois. Taylorville, big win, just one win away from clinching a playoff spot. Athens, that was a tough loss today. They lost 22-18 to Porta, and that drops them to 4-3. Still a really good year. Last year, they only went 2-7, but they're still searching for that final win to get them over. Porta, big upset, able to win the game and improve to 4-3. Then Olympia, with one of the biggest upsets of the year, they beat Maroa Forsyth, and they improved to 4-3 this season. And coming up in the next block, we're going to have all the action from the Champaign region for Lono Unity, making a push as a top dog to Urbana, looking for their first win since 2019. Welcome back, everybody. It's Carson Gordy. Let's finish up with some high school football highlights over in the Champaign region. We have a few teams looking to improve their seeding amid pushes to win a state championship, and other teams just looking for that coveted fifth win and punch their long-awaited ticket to the postseason. Let's start off with Paxi Buckley Loda taking on Tolono Unity on the road. Unity, they only have one loss this year. It was a really close one to Bloomington Central Catholic. Look at their quarterback right there, Dane Eisenmeger. I always say he can throw the ball, but I guess the 6'4" quarterback can also scramble too. Their offense is scoring over 40 points per game this year, and it's easy when you have a running back like Eckstein going right up the middle to score an early touchdown against the Panthers. But Tolono Unity, they would not be done. Their defense is getting better and better since giving up 34 points to Bloomington Central Catholic a couple games ago. And usually seeing Eisenmeger throw 5 touchdowns, no, this was the Eckstein show. They would hold on to win 47-0. They improved to 6-1. I'm telling you, this team can win a state championship. Next game, Richwood's at Urbana. Richwood's 1-5, Urbana 0-6, looking for their first win since the COVID-19 pandemic. Richwood able to get on the board, and that makes it 14-14 just before halftime. And Urbana was looking like they had momentum to win their first game in 5 years, but the game was called off in the middle of the first half. Our photographer talked to the officials. They said they're going to write up a report and send it to the IHSA, and they're going to decide the final determination for this game. But this game was not resumed. It was suspended. It was 14-14. So we'll see in a couple days what's going to be the final result of that ball game. And now let's go over to the scoreboard real quick. These were games, unfortunately, I couldn't get to. Westville, by the way, they're 7-0. They are scoring 57 points per game. They win today 55-0. Danville, tough outing against Normal Community, dropping it 41-0. St. Joseph Ogden, they started last year 11-0. This year they already have 3 losses. Really tough game against an undefeated team like Bloomington Central Catholic, 66-28. Now going to the other scores, Champaign Central, they really needed this win to try to get back to the playoff chase, but they lost Peoria 64-27. North Mac falls 65-12, and this one is the most surprising one of the day, in my opinion. Olympia puts up 50 points on Maroa Forsyth. Maroa, that's their first loss this season. And coming up in sports, we still got a little bit more action with Sammy St. Jean's feature story, then also a little bit of action with this big Ohio State game against Illinois. Ohio's 14-point underdog, but Illinois has faith that they can upset them in Champaign. Welcome back, everybody. High school football brings excitement to the entire community, including those who aren't always on the sidelines. Our sideline reporter, Sammy St. Jean, was over at the Friday night Showdown game of the week earlier, following fun behind-the-scenes story. Sammy, take it away.
Now, our home team tonight is going to be St. Teresa, and they play on turf. But our extra story this week brings us to Central A&M and grass. And our focus this week is on the letters, the white lines, and the logos, or I should say, how they're made. Many schools here in Central Illinois are now using a robot to paint the field called Turf Tank. And it's the first autonomous robot made specifically for field painting. Now, Turf Tank is used in Jacksonville, Mount Zion, and more here in Central Illinois, making grass fields easier to paint and repaint than before. Chris Haggard on the A&M maintenance team said that Turf Tank can program the robot to paint whatever you want it to.
It paints everything, really. It paints everything on the main field. It paints the practice field. It can paint the baseball field.
Now, before Turf Tank, guys like Chris, multiple people would be needed to paint the field. There was always human error, but now with Turf Tank, the field is looking better than ever.
When you're using a manual painter, no matter how hard you try and keep a straight line, the little bitty bumps and crevices in the ground will cause it to be a little bit off, but somehow the Turf Tank seems to make a perfectly straight line.
And the GPS-guided robot not only makes life easier and the field look better, but it's helped the Raiders save in multiple ways.
Well, it saves hours in manpower, and it saves in paint. So, I mean, it's a win-win.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Here's the play of the night. Sacred Heart Griffin facing 4th and 1,000,000, but able to get conversion. That would lead to a touchdown to let them go up 21-13. Then a couple moments later, they would block a punt for a touchdown to go up 28-13. They would ride that momentum for a big victory over their rival. And tomorrow, the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Illinois Fighting Illini are playing, and for many people, if you don't know, they're actually pretty big rivals. They first met in 1902, and this can be the first time they've played since 2017. Illinois, they are a 14.5-point underdog to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State only giving up 8 points per game, a really good offense, but Illinois starting to build some momentum after that 53-point loss to the Hoosiers a couple weeks ago. And here's some old flashback video of when Ohio State lost to Illinois. That's when Illinois upset the #1 team in the country in 2007. That's the trophy they play for, the wooden turtle called the Illabuck. That sent Illinois to the Rose Bowl. Brett Bielema talked about how big this game could be for the program.
Schedule came out, almost probably about 2 years ago. My hope, goal, and dream was to put a team together that was able to match the people that are coming into our stadium. Right? Been since 1950, if I'm not mistaken. 75 years is a long time before somebody's come in ranked #1 against a ranked Illinois.
But the Illinois Fighting Illini, they got a really tough challenge against the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Ohio State scoring over 40 points per game with a couple NFL future wide receivers. And out of 18 Big Ten teams in the Big Ten, Illinois ranks as the 16th best defense. So they are giving up a lot of yards. So it could be a tough game.